And on the line with us now is the man who will work alongside Mavs team president Masai Ujiri as the general manager. Mike Schmitz joins the show for the first time. Mike, thank you so much for the time. It's a big time for you, a belated 36th birthday. Happy 36th birthday to you, and obviously a big new opportunity for you here in Dallas. What have the last couple of days been like for you as you've settled into this opportunity?
It's been great. Obviously, a lot going on, and a really exciting time, for the organization, for myself. Just kind of getting settled, figure out where am I going to live. What's the next month going to look like? Getting my wife out here, but a lot of positive things going, and just really excited to be joining the organization and teaming up with Masai to do some special things here.
Not that long ago, you were doing a lot of the same things that we're doing. You'd fit in very well in our department. We're all right around your same age as well. What has it been like to go from Draft Express, ESPN, all of your media experience to now being where you are, going from assistant GM with the Blazers to now full-blown general manager with the Dallas Mavericks?
It's been incredible. You don't always kind of take the time to exhale and say, okay, this is happening. My approach has always been, set goals for yourself and then just kind of put your head down and do everything you can to get there, and just step by step, right? And be very process oriented and relentless in that approach. And so every once in a while, I think you need to kind of look around and, give yourself some grace and a little pat on the back for getting there. But now that I'm here, I'm ready to go. Like I have a very high expectations for myself, high expectations for the organization, high expectations for what we're going to do here. And so the applause and all that and the great feelings are nice in very short windows, but I'm ready to hit the ground running, and we have a lot to get done here, and a great opportunity to make a massive impact on the organization and the city.
Speaking of high expectations, sounds like Masai has high expectations for himself, for you, but he also seems to absolutely love you. Can you talk about when your paths initially crossed and how you guys have evolved relationship-wise since that time, and then what led to him initially engaging you about this opportunity?
International scouting, being in small gyms all over the world, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, the States, we're always kind of on that same pursuit. Obviously him at a much higher level than me, but I really got to know him on kind of the global scouting tour. I started getting more involved in, basketball in Africa, helping as an assistant coach for the Uganda national team. So spent a lot of time over there. Had been to his, Giants of Africa camps, and really just built a strong relationship over a decade, and have always had great respect and admiration for him. And so when this opportunity came up, I was all over it.
Mike, I'm curious, you've been at the forefront of the growth internationally for the sport. 30 years ago, when there was an international guy coming into the league, it was viewed that he was going to have to take a step up, but now it's been practically a decade since there's not been an international guy that's not been an MVP of the league. What has it been like seeing that change, and also like the added I guess responsibility of finding talent not just statewide but globally?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think the game has changed in that sense, just because of the access to information. I think the days of having the VHS tape of the guy playing on his driveway in the middle of nowhere, some desolate country is different, right? That player probably has a TikTok account now that has gone viral and everyone has seen. So it has changed a little bit. So I think that access to information has made it a more global game. International players are coming to college more, so there's a little bit more exposure there. But it's been awesome to see just the globalization of the sport as a whole. There's so many great initiatives out there that's just growing the game on a global scale. And, that's exciting, and I would expect it to continue moving forward.
You've had a lot of hits. You've had a lot of guys that you accurately predicted success, not just relative to star players, but relative to role players as well. Without asking you to brag about yourself, how have you developed that ability? What has allowed you to have such a keen eye when it comes to evaluating what a future looks like for some of these players?
And what advice can you give us who want to be GMs later on down the line in 3 or 4 years from now?
Well, I'm. Some days you're thankful everyone doesn't see all of your rankings, because that's just the reality, right? You like to feel great about the players who are having success that you vouched for, or you brought, or whatever it is. But I think what makes you great is learning from maybe the mistakes and always recalibrating your lens, studying what's working in the NBA, what isn't. Things that were really successful 10 years ago aren't happening in the playoffs today. So really important to pay attention to those things. It's important for, I guess, Mavs fans and everyone in the organization to know, like, we're going to do everything in our power to exhaust all of those things to maximize every player that comes through the store.
I feel like scouting one Cooper Flagg was probably something that a lot of different people around the league enjoyed doing. When you are trying to construct a roster around a superstar, what becomes most important in that evaluation process that you just spoke about at length?
With a guy like Cooper in particular, what makes him I don't want to say easy, but a player that you can fit different pieces around is because he's so versatile. Like, he can play in a million different ways. You can create the majority of your offense. He can play off the ball. He can spot up. He can crash. He can cut. He can handle. He can push in transition. He guards multiple positions. He's very active off the ball. So when you have a star like that who is so competitive and who's so dialed into all those winning attributes, it gives you a lot of optionality to find players that will fit around that. So having Cooper as our centerpiece, how he's wired, his competitive nature, how he is on a day-to-day basis, people will follow because of his actions and how he handles himself every day.
To that end, one of the big decisions that needs to be made by this organization over the course of the coming year or so, however long this takes, is relative to the future of Kyrie Irving. Masai Ujiri has talked about his desire to see Kyrie and Cooper Flagg playing side by side, but there is obviously the reality at play that there isn't a lot of draft capital for this franchise beyond 2026. How do you and Masai counterbalance those two needs and the fact that Kyrie could work very well for you in that space if you were to trade him, but there is also the desire to see these two guys play together? How do you evaluate those two things side by side?
You've heard Masai talk about Kyrie even at the press conference the other day, and I think he quoted Kevin Durant saying there's only one Kyrie Irving, and he's right. I mean, it's really, really difficult to find that level of talent who's done it at the highest level year after year, who can create offense, who can play on the ball, off the ball, magician with the basketball in his hands. I'm really, really excited to see what that looks like. And just to have him in our building, in our organization, as one of the leaders of this group alongside Cooper is huge for us, and we're really excited to see it.
Is there any concern, though, relative to their timelines being so different?
No concern there. Cooper is 19 years old, but he plays like a grizzled veteran, just
That's
with
for sure.
the way he impacts the game in so many different ways. And so he's not a normal 19-year-old, and we're very aware of that, and just excited to continue to do everything we can to maximize him. And obviously Kyrie is a massive part of that.
You are going through a series of rather significant life changes right now. Brand new job, and I understand you've got a little one on the way. Got to move the whole family here to Dallas. How topsy-turvy is your world right now, and how many different places is your brain going from minute to minute right now?
It's a blessing, to be honest. Like, I could tell you, it's crazy, and I'm barely sleeping, and this is what you live for. I love this. Like, this is how I'm wired. I'm a go type of person. I like action. I like doing things. And yeah, the fact that you got to pick up and move your pregnant wife and figure out where to live and, all these different things going on. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I wanted this. This is something I've been working my entire career for. And to have this opportunity to have such a big impact on a storied franchise, the chaos is, bring it on. Like, I want all of it.
To be 30, I guess technically 36, but to get the job when you were still 35, of being an NBA general manager, can you talk about your initial reaction to finding out like that dream had come true and what maybe your wife and your family's reaction was to the news?
Very excited, but I'm kind of a next play. Okay, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
how do we? All right, when's the lottery? All right? What are our odds? What pick are we gonna have? How do we get better? Where should we move? That's, I guess, how my brain works. There is a moment where your family's obviously proud of you and excited and seeing all the long hours and time that you put in. So it's exciting. I'm thankful, all of that, but I'm ready to get to work, and that's why I'm here, and I know we're going to do big things.
What have been your first impressions of the city, and do you have a favorite barbecue place yet?
Ooh, good question. First impressions, great. I've come to Dallas scouting for years and years. I wouldn't say I know it intimately in all the neighborhoods. I'm still very much trying to figure out where to live. But barbecue, I don't have much. I'm more of a Tex-Mex guy. Okay. I'm from Phoenix, and Mexican food in general is something I very much enjoy. So I went to Las Palmas. Is that
Yeah.
There you go.
am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and had a great meal there. So that much I can tell you. Much beyond that, I'm not sure. So what are your recs? Leave here without at least some recommendations, right?
I mean, just have some fun trying some stuff out. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. Everyone's got their own spot.
Pecan Lodge,
yes.
Terry Black's, Lockhart's.
Okay. Are they
if you're
sponsors
looking
of
for
the show?
barbecue, they are not, but they can be after this.
Smart. I want to tee you up for,
No, thank you. You're helping our sales department right now.
Great assist. Great assist.
As you said, wear a lot of different hats.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
One last thing for you, and we'll let you go. It's obviously no secret. This is a fan base that has been, I don't think it's too strong a word to say, tortured over the course of the last 15 months. It has been a tough period of time for this fan base. How different is the challenge for you and Masai compared to what he experienced in Toronto, what you experienced in Portland, and how do you get this fan base back energized? Cooper Flagg's, I'm sure, a big part of it, but in totality, how do you get this fan base back under the tent?
I would say just being so undeniable in our approach and so undeniable in our actions, and leading with competitiveness and fire and tenacity, and all the things that we've talked about as an organization, being fully aligned, to being forward thinking, being collaborative, and then letting that play out in the results, right? If we take care of all the decisions that we need to make at a high level, then the product's going to show. And so it's obviously an exciting challenge, but the foundation is here in many ways. And I have said this before, but the hardest thing to find is a young generational talent. Like, that's what we're all pursuing. That's why I met Masai in those early years, on those bad flights to random places, right? Was searching for a player like Cooper Flagg. That's what we've all been on this hustle for. And the fact that he's already here in place, the fact that, the city is a city that embraces the sport of basketball, that is so lively and energetic, the fact that, the organization is so storied, and there is such a yearning for winning and success, that's all we can ask for. And now it's our job to do everything we can to create a sustainable winner, and that's what we're going to do.
Cooper Flagg is definitely part of the reason why Mavs fans should be excited about the future. I also believe that the hires of yourself and Masai Ujiri are two key prongs in why Mavs fans should be excited about the future as well for this organization. Mike Schmitz, the new GM of the Dallas Mavericks. Mike, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.